I am again. How are you? I'm here again to show you how to make a bracelet instead of cleaning the house and doing all my other stuff I should be doing. This is the bracelet. Pretty. I really like it. This is the clasp I went on my expedition to find. However, the color of these clasps will not work for this. I am not sure what I'm going to do. I'll think of something. But I started on the components right here. You need 8 of these. I'm going to show you how to make these components and how to put the bracelet together. Come on, focus. Right here. The back is covered. These are 16mm Swarovski buttons in Volcano. The bracelet is 16mm buttons in Montana Blue with a antique gold Delica and like a berry, I don't know what it is, what it's called, I didn't look at it. A dark metallic wine color. It looked really pretty though. So I have some size 11 Delicas here in a rose gold and copper. I should have bought copper findings too. I thought about it, but I didn't. I was in a hurry and I just grabbed what I knew I needed and left for this bracelet and didn't think about what I was going to do for the tooth, which was stupid, but oh well. I'm not going to run out again. I'm just going to figure something else out. I have a size 12 beading needle, 8-pound fire line and crystal, and this is not hard. There are many steps, but it isn't hard. It's actually pretty easy. So I think anybody can make this. And you don't have to use Delicas. I'm just thinking the Delicas are easier to do the back part, this part. You can use any size, really, if you get good at that round peyote. So let's get started. I like using 2 colors of beads. You don't have to. You can use 1 or more. I like using 2 because I tend to lose my place where I am. And this helps me remember where I am and what I'm doing. So you want to pick up 3 beads. I don't care what color. Doesn't matter. You want to tie them at the end of your thread to form a little triangle. Just like the other tutorial we did, I did the covered Rivoli. This is the same thing. I'm using a new table. It's very shaky. I hate that. But oh well. I'll think of some way to stabilize this somewhere. Sometime. I have my 3 beads tied on. I've cut off my tail. I've tied it on very well with 3 knots. You want to put your needle through a bead and tug a little bit to help move your knot, move it away. Okay? You're going to pick up a bead and you're going to put a bead in between all 3 of these little beads. Whoops. No matter how clear I get my table, I always manage to get my thread caught on something. It doesn't matter. It could be my foot. It's caught on something. Next. One more. And when you're putting your bead through the last bead, you want to put it through the first bead you added here. So you're stepping up. And you're making a slightly larger triangle, like this. Now we're going to increase, and for that I use a different color. I'm going to use a copper for that. Pick up 2 beads, and put 2 beads in between each corner of this triangle. So I have 2 here and here, and here. See? The last bead, and there's my first copper bead, the first pair. I'm going to put my needle in between. So it's coming out between those two copper beads that I added, the first two, like this. And now we're going to add a gold bead in between everything. Even between the pairs. Keep things tight. It looks funky and weird until you get toward the very end, so don't freak out if it looks awful, because it's going to. I'm back in between a pair, adding a gold in between the pair, and another gold here. Pair. I think my knot came undone. I'm such a bad teacher. Here. And the last copper bead, and then up through the first gold bead that we added in this round, like this. All right. We're going to add another increase row, so that means putting two. I'm going to use copper again, 2 beads in between all those gold beads we just added. Copper, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 more, 2 more, the last pair, putting it through the gold bead, and then up through the first copper bead in that pair. So it's coming out in between the 2 copper beads, my needle. And we're going to add 3 rows of gold beads all the way around. See, between the pair, after the pair, and then in between the pair, and after the pair, like this. You will hear a little click. Make sure you pull tight to get this bead, that bead in between the pairs that you've added. Oh no. Let's see what happens. My last bead in this row. I'm putting through that last copper, back up through the first gold. It looks like this. I'm going to add 2 more rows of gold beads in between here. In between all the golds we just added. This is my second row. Stepping up from my second row to my third here. one more row of gold. Adding my last bead to this third row. Just step up to the first bead I added in that row. And we're going to add an increase row, but we're not going to increase. We're just going to add 2 beads. I'm going to use copper in between all the gold beads. Like this. That. I have my last 2 copper beads, but I'm not going to have my needle go in between them. I'm going to go through both of the first copper beads I added in this row, like this, through the last gold and through the 2 copper. So you end up with a little circle like this, and your thread is coming out of the first pair you added in that last row. And we're going to add a gold bead in between all of the pairs, but not in the pairs. So I'll show you. Just put your needle through both beads in your pairs as you're adding gold, like this, or whatever color you're using. So you end up with little spokes in between your pairs, like that. Okay. Add one more through the 2 copper, then back up through the first gold. And our little wheel is done. So now we're going to start netting the crystal. This is a 16 millimeter volcano Swarovski button, because that's what I had. But they work fine. If you have buttons, they work fine. If you have regular Rivolis, they work fine. So, see how it fits right in there? Little things sticking out. We're going to add 7 beads to this first row of netting. So the way I did it is I added 3 gold, 1 copper, 3 gold. Okay. Skip the next spoke, put your needle through the next. Do this all the way around. 1, 2, 3, copper, 1, 2, 3, gold, skip through the next, 2, 3, copper, 1, 2, 3, gold, all the way around. I'm adding my last group of 7. I'm skipping. I'm back to where I began. So I'm going to put my needle through that spoke, that first spoke there, through the first 4 I added in this last round here. So my needle is coming out through the copper in the middle of that group of 7 beads. So you have a little thing that looks like this. Even that by itself is really pretty. I kind of like it. I'd embellish that middle, and I have another one of these I'm going to show you. It's another variation of this, and it really came out nice, so I'll save that for another time. Now we're going to add groups of 5 in between all of these little, what should I call these things? Stretches? Sections? I don't know. So I picked up, these are deformed. I picked up 2 gold, 1 copper, 2 gold, which I'm running out of. I'll have to put more on my mat. Put your needle through the center copper of that previous row, the next one, just like this. I'm going to start cinching it in. 2, 1 copper, 2 gold, do the next copper, like this. Next copper. Get more beads. One more. This is our last round of 5. And here's that copper bead that we've started out with right here. Put your needle through that, then through the 2 gold and the copper. Your first round in this last row here. Just like this. Pull. So you get a little basket, kind of like that. Grab your crystal. Again, this is for 16 millimeter, this pattern. Snuggle it down in there. I honestly couldn't get over how well this worked. I amaze myself. Now we're going to work in rounds of, groups of 3. So I picked up 1 gold, 1 copper, 1 gold, put my needle through the center copper, the next one there, pull, gold, copper, gold, the next center copper, gold, copper, gold. Because you're holding things, you can't really see what's going on until you're done with this round. And yeah, it's like a big surprise when it comes out so well. Next. Whoop. And this is my last one. And putting my needle through that copper bead that I first started with, and I'm going to work my needle down, down, down toward the base, like this. And you're going to yank, yank, and there you go. It's like a miracle. I just love it. Really came out so, so nice. And then I weave down into the base, down into this back covering, the round peyote we started with, to secure my thread. And the way I secure my thread, people are always asking me how I secure my thread. It's really, there are so many ways you can do it, but for this, because the beads are very tight, I weave in and out, back and forth, around and around. Like for example, right here, I'm finding a gold bead that's sticking out, and I put my needle through that, put my needle back down through the next gold bead, back up through coppers to the next gold bead, and I weave around that way 3 times. Cut my thread. This is my 7th component. I need 8. So when I make my 8th one, I'll be back and show you how I put this bracelet together. This is going to be another long one, but some of you guys like those. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it'll work because I don't have the right color clasp. I'm going to start putting this bracelet together. And the way I made this one, just totally by ear, but it worked out. So I took one of the components. I'm going to add the clasp, one under the clasp, and I wove through, back and forth until my thread was secure. And out through one of these little spokes at the edge here. I put on for this one, put on a 4mm round and a piece of French wire, which I don't know what else it's called, bullion wire? I only know it by French wire. I found some copper clasps that I had forever, and it's a brushed copper. I don't really like it, but it goes so much better than anything else I have. It's a simple clasp. They just snap together. And put my needle through here, one of these ends, doesn't matter which. I'll put my needle back down through the 4mm round and through the gold bead that my thread is coming out of. The opposite end the thread is, exiting. It's going to enter on the opposite end. And pull and cross my fingers and okay, that'll work. I have one end of my clasp attached like this. I'm going to weave this thread back and forth till I get to the other end of this component out of this gold bead, so I can start weaving these components together. I decided to start over. We've got our clasp. I've worked my thread through the back to one of these points at like a Y. You have to visualize a Y. Here's the stem up, and then there's the two arms of the Y. It's going to be like that. Okay? So I'm at the one of the arms, so I pick up a Delica, a 4mm, and a Delica. And I want this to come this way on the next component through one of the little gold spokes, doesn't matter which one. I mean, you can get fussy about it, I guess, but I'm not going to. Okay? I'm going to pick up another gold, another 4mm, and another gold. And I'm going to go through the next point of my Y, right here. So these two are connected now. I'm going to weave through this way, back up through here, weave up here to the next point to connect our next component to here. See how this is done? I don't know, there's a lot of visualization. When I first tried making this, I used only one bead in the middle, like one strand, and I didn't like it because these kept twisting around, and I didn't want that. I wanted the crystals to face up 95% of the time or more. So that meant I had to stabilize it, and this stabilizes the chain very well. So I'm going to weave through here, weave back up, weave through this top point, okay, and repeat this step. Okay, I've got 4 of the jewels on. I'm going to show you how I put them on. I had to practice. You wouldn't believe what a disaster my first attempt to record this was. Pretty bad. Now, I'm sure I know I can tell you how to do this. I have my thread coming out of one of the gold beads in the very edge. See that? You have to imagine a Y like this. This is how it's done. I put my next component in. I'm visualizing where my thread's going to go. It's going to go here. I'm going to come out here. So I pick up one gold bead, gold 11, a copper 4mm, and another gold 11. I bring them down. I put my needle through the first arm of the Y in this section, going in. Okay, first one. I'm going to weave to the next spoke, which is way over here. So weave over there. There's a lot of weaving in putting this together. Probably just as much as putting the components together. All right. My needle's coming out of where that arm of that Y is going to be. Right here. I pick up a gold 11, another copper 4mm and a gold 11. Put my needle down into where I started, way down here. Okay. And we're attached like this. So you end up with it's a really nice link going down. I'm going to weave back up through this arm, through the back, up to the top, where I'm going to add my next link, my next component up here, like this. I have 5 on. I've got 3 more to go. And I will finish the clasp on the other end, same way I did this end. And I'll be back when this is finished and show you the finished bracelet. Bye. And there we are. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Looks like snakeskin on the other side. Okay. Attached my other end of my clasp. I just took it apart from that end and attached it to this end the same way I attached this one. Ooh, that wire is coming. I have to snip that off. And it fits beautifully. 8 links. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see if I can answer them. Oh, and put this on. Oops. There is a very popular television series in the US. I don't know if they have it in other countries. I hope they do. Called Project Runway. My American viewers will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a great television show. Contest, actually, with these designers, and they win prizes, and they come up with these amazing fashion designs. Well, starting next week, Project Runway is having a whole new series called Project Accessory, and I cannot wait to see this awesome new show. It's these artists, instead of coming up with fashion designs, they come up with accessory designs to go with the fashions. And it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. It's going to be so awesome. So it starts next Wednesday. Oh, no, sorry, next Thursday on Lifetime. Can't wait to see it. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. So tune in. I don't know if they're going to have anything like that in Europe, or they should. Isn't this beautiful? I am very, very pleased. I am real happy. Give this a try. This is it didn't take long. This probably took, I don't know, maybe 3-4 hours to make. Not long. Don't need a whole buttload of beads either. Works really well. I'm trying to think of anything else. Thank you, YouTube. I love you. Stay happy. Stay inspired. Stay creative. Bye-bye.